gaining ground on an already bright future. Late Monday, they signed baseball's top amateur Stephen Strasburg. Yesterday, Mike Rizzo was given the permanent GM title. And today, finally, we welcomed our newest addition to Washington. Now it's time to have some success back down there on the field. It's been a rough week between the lines for the Nats, a sweep at the hands of Colorado, first of 4 with the Milwaukee Brewers. And the last time these two teams got together for a 4-game series, 53 runs were scored at Miller Park. Bob Carpenter and Rob Dibble, let's talk pitching, buddy. It's your forte. And how about J.D. Martin? The Nats need him or someone to start pitching deeper into these games.
Well, he's had a lot of success as of late. Didn't start out that great, but now he's starting to get with it. I think he's getting a little bit more acclimated to the major league level. Here you see the first 4 starts, 0.27 ERA, and he was getting over 6 runs of run support. Now he's 2-0 with below 1 ERA, so he's really starting to throw a lot more strikes, pound the strike zone, and feels more comfortable. And if you're getting almost 12 runs of run support per game, that helps too. But you know, J.D. Martin is just like a lot of these other young pitchers, Bob. They have to continue to progress, and when Stephen Strasburg gets here, they all are going at the same rate. And Braden Looper on the other side, he has not done so great. Look at that, 0-2 with a 7.36 in his last few starts. 30 home runs allowed, most in the major league. So it could get ugly, or it could be a pitcher's duel.
Looper was a reliever most of his career. He's only been a starter now for the last couple of years. Tough transition to make really at any stage.
Absolutely, and I think he's done a great job. When he came out of the bullpen in St. Louis, he and Adam Wainwright went out there. They did a great job, set him up for the free agent market coming here in Milwaukee as one of their top 5 starters. So he's done a great job, continues to go out there and win games. They're 14-10 in Braden Looper's starts, and that's the ultimate thing you want to look at. How many wins do the Brewers have in Looper's starts?
If you like offense, this might be your weekend. We mentioned those 53 runs in Milwaukee. The Nats scored 30 of those. Adam Dunn hit one a mile, and the Nats had 41 hits in splitting with the struggling Milwaukee Brewers. Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by McDonald's. Feeling thirsty? Try a refreshing 32-ounce Mickey D's sweet tea. I'm loving it at participating McDonald's. Some of us would like to have a 64-ounce sweet tea poured right over the top of our heads after the day it's been here in our nation's capital. It's a Friday night sizzler with the Brewers coming to town, and they've got offense to spare. Former Nat Felipe Lopez, and then come the big guys, Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, who's worn out the Nats. .318 batting average, and Ryan Braun having a great year. He's hitting .313 overall and has 44 multi-hit games on the year. It's a tall task for young J.D. Martin, making only his 7th major league start. And Felipe Lopez, here's a mixed reaction from Nats fans as he's announced to lead off the game. He's done okay for Milwaukee, though, batting .333. 28 games, 26 starts. This is a ball club that's undergone some really interesting changes since the Nats last saw him. Felipe is a first pitch fastball hitter, and he tops a little ground ball to the pitcher, Martin, and we're underway at 7:06, 88 degrees, and Rob has the PNC scouting report.
Well, who wants to be a millionaire? Well, you just saw Steven Strasburg, and if you want to stay in the major leagues and make a lot of money, you got to solidify your spot. He's been feeling stingy lately. A 111 batting average against with runners in scoring position. Last 3 starts, right stuff, much better against right-handed hitters. 200 average, 290 on base percentage. Lefties, though, 404 and 424 on base percentage. Not that good.
Strike one to Craig Counsell. With J.J. Hardy demoted on August 12th, Counsell moves to shortstop. And Hardy was one of their cornerstone players last year in their playoff run. On that same day, they designated Bill Hall for assignment. And that was a very interesting day in the recent history of the Brewers, who also let their manager go in the middle of September last year. And then Ken Maka came in.
Yeah, 12 games to go last year.
Ned Yost, who had been there for 6 years. I think what it amounts to is their executive vice president, GM Doug Melvin, is not afraid to pull the trigger. And they are not playing well, the Brewers. They came from Pittsburgh, gave up lots of offense to the Pirates. And right now they're 10.5 behind St. Louis in the Central, 9.5 behind Colorado. They are 7th in the wild card. That may be way too many teams to leapfrog over the next 6 weeks. In fact, 2 teams in the wild card race ahead of Milwaukee are in their own division.
Well, and I talked to Gord Ash right after that, the assistant general manager of Milwaukee, and he said that move was 2 weeks in the process before they pulled the trigger on it. There you see the strikeout of Counsell on the inner half. But Bob, they pulled the trigger after 2 weeks. They tried to let those guys go a little bit longer. Hall and Hardy, they couldn't let it go anymore, and they made the move. 2-2. Beautiful moving fastball right there. He throws it at that hip, moves it right over the edge of the strike zone. That was a strike 3 right there.
When the Nationals left Milwaukee at the end of a 4-game series, J.J. Hardy was hitting in the 230s. Bill Hall was lower than that. So home plate umpire Laz Diaz punching out Counsell there. And here's Ryan Braun, 7th in the league in hitting, 9th in homers, 4th in RBIs. He's all over the National League statistic leader sheet. 4th in hits, 2nd in runs. And he's not that big, but he has big time power. They list Braun at 6'1", 200. Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, and now a 2-time All-Star. He's at the very back of that box. His foot is firmly planted right on the back chalk line.
Well, and I was watching McDay go to right field, so maybe he's struggling a little bit, and he's going to try and wait a little bit longer and see that ball a little bit longer before he pulls the trigger on the swing.
I guess they don't even bother to erase the lines anymore, do they? He's going to get a base hit. And the reason that J.D. Martin let it go, he didn't think he had a play at first. All he could hope for was the foul ball. And it's base hit number 146 for Ryan Braun.
Well, Braun has better speed than you think. He has 11 stolen bases on the year, and right here he gets out of the box flying. J.D. Martin knows I'm going to have to make a terrific play. Let me see if it'll go foul, because I don't think I can get him.
And it never got to the lip of the grass to turn left. Now you have to deal with Prince Fielder, who sits safely in 10 of his last 11 games. It was funny, I was visiting a little while ago with Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, and Bill, a former catcher, the Milwaukee broadcast guys. They said, remember that home run Adam Dunn hit in our ballpark?
Yes.
Well, Prince hit one farther. And I know you know the one I'm talking about. And look at him hit this ball to dead center. Prince Fielder hit one high off the scoreboard last week in Milwaukee, and he hits a laser shot over the center field wall here, and the Brewers have 2 on the board. That'll be his 33rd of the year, and his league-leading RBI total jumps up to 110.
Bob, right-handers hitting .327 slugging percentage off of him. Lefty .719. And this is part of that .719 slugging percentage. Prince Fielder gets a fat fastball and crushes it to dead center.
That's the first ball I've ever seen go in between the 2 walls out there. They usually end up in the red seats or up on the batter's eye. He just got it over about 398 feet from home plate.
He could be just one of the biggest vegetarians I've ever seen, too.
Moms all over the country should be saying, see, he can do it. Fly ball by Casey McGehee out of play, right field side. But with this weather, and there's just a little bit of a breeze blowing, I don't think that matters. The ball gets up in this muggy air, and it will keep on going. I think we're in for lots of offense this weekend. One and 2. I wonder if Prince swung so hard he hurt himself. He's limping. He's kind of a left-handed Gary Sheffield when it comes to bat speed. This is an interesting player, Casey McGehee. They got him on waivers from the Cubs last October. He drove in 92 runs at AAA Iowa last year for Chicago, but they didn't keep him. They only gave him 24 at bats last year. And he's turned into the Milwaukee regular third baseman now. He shared some time with COUNSELL while J.J. Hardy was there.
There's a swing on the home run by Prince Fielder. Looks like he's running okay.
You know, he was running really full speed, and then he slowed down when the ball went out. I wonder if he hurt himself near the first base bag. McGehee bounces out to Martin, and the Brewers blast their way to an early lead. $1 admission seats for the ball game tonight. And the Nats will be at least 2 down when they come up here. And a look at Prince Fielder, Rob, around the bases. Did he hurt himself?
Well, coming around second, watch him. He'll grab for that leg right about here. Ouch. Something's bothering him there. He comes around third. He's going to grab it again. Coming around third, gets down. He's like, ow, man, something's grabbing that hamstring. Looks behind the butt, maybe in his knee. Came out to first base, was doing the same thing. So maybe he popped something coming around first, or maybe it's been bothering him before he got here.
Maybe Nigel Morgan should drag a bunt over there to start the ball game.
Check it out. See how your defense is doing. Whenever a guy's injured, you want to check and see if he can field his position.
We're pretty sure they won't play as well as Colorado did for the last 3 days here.
Ooh, don't say that too early.
That was a clinic that the Rockies put on, and here's Braden Looper.
Yeah, their defense was unreal.
Offers to bunt, takes it up and away. Looper only became a starter last year. 2 years ago, pardon me, 07, 30 starts with St. Louis, 33 last year. He was 12 and 26 in those 2 years with an ERA of right around 4.5. Morgan will flip one left field line. He's thinking extra bases. He's already at second base.
Holy cow.
How quickly did he round first? I think Ryan Braun thought he had a play when he first got to the ball.
I thought Braun had a play of keeping him to a single right here. He is flying out of the box. Somebody came ready to play. And right as Braun picked it up, he was almost on second base. Leadoff double for Nigel Morgan, getting things back the way we need it to go, especially since we're down 2-0 already.
And here's Cristian Guzman, only 3 for his last 26. He's had some pretty wild fluctuations in his hitting lately. About 3 weeks ago he was cold. Then he embarked on a 17-game hitting streak. That came to an end at the end of the series in Atlanta. He's been struggling for the last week and a half. Laz Diaz, 11-year veteran. Crew chief Mike Riley, 33 years. Chuck Merriweather and Mike Muchlinski, who we've never seen at the major league level, has third base. And Guzman will lay one down. That'll move the runner over.
I like it small ball.
Well, you have a chance to get 1 run back in a hurry. Right after the other team got 2, and it'll be Zimmerman and Dunn, the next 2 hitters.
Well, take it. If they're going to give you the bunt right there, and you know you've got a first baseman that could be injured, bunt it down the first base line. Braden Looper does a great job jumping off there, fielding his position. Prince Fielder stays at home. And you would figure if you're Jim Riggleman, all-star third baseman, all-star first baseman, these guys should be able to get the run in from third here.
Yes, sir. Ryan has 80 RBIs. He's 1 behind Nigel Morgan in hits now. Zimmerman 140, he scored 86 runs. And they give him a huge gap in left center. They really think he's going to hit the ball to right center if he hits it out that way, not pulling. And that's off the plate, 2-0. This is one of the more interesting defensive configurations I've seen against Ryan. We have rain falling at the ballpark suddenly. We've had an off and on day with a few showers here and there. And Zimmerman hits it hard. It'll work. And the run scores. Ryan has RBI number 81. It'll be Adam Dunn to follow here with 2 outs and the bases empty. Rest of the Nats lineup: Dunn, Willingham, and Harris. Willie getting a start in left. Ronnie BELLIARD and Will Nieves in front of J.D. Martin. Adam Dunn hitting .370 over the last month, elevating his average up to .287. And just in case you don't remember when I dropped this on you during the road trip last week, that is exactly 40 points above Adam Dunn's career batting average. In last night's game, an illustration of that. He had a couple of singles, actually a single double and an RBI. Played a lot against Milwaukee in the Central, big numbers against them. And there's another one. See you later. This game is tied in the first inning. Wow. Well, let's keep an eye on the first baseman in this series for these next 4 games.
Looper leads the major leagues with home runs given up with 30. This is number 31. Will leave the building. And that is a monstrous blast off the bat of Dunn. So the big hoss says the Prince fielder, okay, I'll spot you one and see how good you are. I think his was a little farther than Prince's.
It almost scraped the concrete of the upper deck. Josh Willingham's hit 19.
Well, I was just going to say, too, I really think that Adam enjoys having Zimmerman and Willingham protecting him and batting around him. That's why I think his average is up so high. This could be the PNC Bank scouting report on Looper before it gets any later.
He gives up a lot of home runs, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. PNC Bank scouting report. The final one, serve it up, 30 home runs already, just like starting over. 9 years in the bigs before he made a start, and he had 103 career saves in the bullpen, 83 from 03 to 05.
And Willingham strikes out on a hard-sinking fastball down in. The Nats strike back quickly. A double, a sacrifice, a grounder, and Adam Dunn moonshot. 2-2 in the rain after 1. Nationals Park, March 30th of 2008. And they just got finished. What they do is they bring a little PDA out there and they have a look at the radar. And they must feel there's a cell that's about to pass through here because it's coming down quite hard. Ground crew on standby for the moment. But now that the game has started, it is Mike Riley's call over there at first base. Nationals defensively, Guzman, Belliard up the middle. Nieves Morgan up and down the middle. Harris Willingham on the flanks and Zimmerman Dunn at the corners. Leading off, veteran Mike Cameron, top of the second, suddenly a 2-2 game.
Well, your team got you that 2 runs back. Now it's time to stick it to the Brewers and shut them down here and get a big donut.
Mike Cameron hits one hard up the middle.
That's not the answer.
He's still a good hitter, 13th year in the big leagues at the age of 36. 3 of the last 4 batters hitting safely.
Mike Cameron takes this pitch right here. Looks like a breaking ball that stays up. And he puts it right through the 5-hole. He shoots, scores. Great Exmo action.
Frank Catalanato is next. And he's 35 years of age. Brewers have built their organization around a lot of their young cornerstone players like Braun and Fielder and Hardy, and they thought Bill Hall. But right now, they are on the fringe of the playoff race and having to rely on some veteran guys. Frank Catalanato doesn't play every day, but over his last 35 games, he's hit .355. He's a career .292 hitter in his 12th year, and he's hitting about 10 points higher than that. 2 tours of duty with Texas. He's been a Tiger and a Blue Jay.
Well, and as I said, Doug Melvin and Gordash did not want to pull the trigger on the Bill Hall. Bill Hall had moved from almost every position to another one over the last few years. Second base to the outfield, third base to second base to the outfield. And they were hoping that J.J. Hardy and Bill Hall would turn their seasons around, and when it didn't happen, they pulled the trigger.
And there's another young player that sort of failed them, who's been hurt some, and that was supposed to be their second baseman of the future, Ricky Weeks. A power and speed combination. Things haven't worked out very well for him. He's on the DL right now with a .272 batting average, only played 37 games. That's why they had to go out and get Felipe Lopez. On a 2-1 pitch, a fly ball to center. Niger Morgan is right there. And Mike Cameron didn't make any effort to go back and tag. He didn't think it was deep enough. And that'll be the first out here in the second. That'll bring up Jason Kendall and Braden Looper to follow. They have another young player who's really fast, who they called up, a kid named Alcides Escobar. And if we see him in the lineup this weekend, the Brewers will hit their pitcher 8th and hit him 9th in front of Felipe Lopez, because he's always been a leadoff guy, but he didn't get the start against a right-handed pitcher tonight.
Kind of like Tony La Russa, where he likes to have a lot of speed at the bottom. Yeah. It's really the beginning of the game is the only time you need that leadoff hitter to be a true leadoff hitter. Some innings it's going to be the 8 guy or the 9 guy, and then it's 9-1-2.
La Russa first did that back in '98 to add another hitter between the pitcher and Mark McGwire for more men on base. And there have been a couple of other managers who've tinkered with that in the National League.
More ducks on the pond. Well, I can see hitting Carlos Zambrano 8th. He's probably better than most 8 hitters in the Cubs lineup.
1-1 to Kendall. And the runner's off and going. That ball's well hit. Willie Harris to the gap. He ran a straight across route, and then he had to go out a little bit to get it. So Ken Maka trying to make some things happen with the pitcher coming up. That was a good time to try that. And now it's Braden Looper, and he does have 9 hits this year.
Well, very good contact guy. You see Jason Kendall wait on that pitch, wait on it, drive it into left field, but Willie Harris is there. Some really good speed, center and left.
Kendall only 39 strikeouts this year and 341 at bats. He's always been Mr. Contact. There's Braden Looper and a bouncer that Zimmerman will cut off. Nice short play to second. And the Nats are out of the inning after the leadoff hit. J.D. Martin gets a badly needed 0 on the board. Park. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, we had a special on Masson, a 30-minute program that introduced Stephen Strasburg to you and to our fans. And when Ryan Zimmerman came up and presented him with his jersey number 37, I asked Ryan if he had any advice for young Mr. Strasburg.
You're here for a reason. I think we wouldn't have drafted you or taken you if you weren't good. So don't change, be yourself, and don't worry about what everyone thinks. I think it's unfair for everyone to put so much pressure on this kid, and he's obviously talented and going to be here quick enough and do great things for us. But go out, have fun. It's baseball. It's no different than it was in college.
Listen to the old man Zimmerman at the age of 24 talking about this kid. I love it. It's a lot like the relationship we have on the pitching staff with John Lannon, who's actually mentoring some guys who are older than him because he has more major league experience. But the impression I came away from Stephen Strasburg with today is that Stephen, in some respects, is a lot like Ryan. He's low key. He's very smart. He's got a bit of a sense of humor that catches you a little off guard, but he's very soft-spoken. If he's like Ryan Zimmerman and those ways and more, the Nats are onto something very special.
And I also got a sense of he's confident. He talked about he's just going to try to do the same thing he did in college, that he's got some winning ways, and I like to hear that. If I were to sit in a room and talk to kids and I'll say, who's the best kid in this room, I want all of them to raise their hands. I want them all to believe that and think that, so that they'll go out there and work hard and try to be the best always and get back up here, and when he gets here, he'll be ready. And like Zim said, we didn't draft you if you weren't good. Put it bluntly.
Willie Harris lays one down. Ryan Braun handling a wet ball. Plays it well. I don't think Willie caught Ryan Braun, or rather Casey McGehee, off guard at all. Braun used to play third base. He's in left field now, and McGehee was playing shallow to begin with.
Yeah, they're waiting on some speed to try to use that wet grass to deaden the ball. McGehee comes in, makes a great play, uses the glove.
He knew he had time, huh?
Nice job.
They don't use the glove when they know it's going to be bang bang. Here's Belliard, and Ronnie suddenly 0 for his last 8.
No, but now the fun begins. Steven gets to go down to Florida, go to the Arizona Fall League, start making your way back up to the major leagues.
Out to the shortstop, Craig Counsell, 2 quick outs.
I wrote a blog on Masson.com today about Tim Lincecum through 65 innings, 13 starts. He was in the big leagues to stay. Tommy Hanson, a little bit longer, 75 starts, 430 innings to stay. I don't believe it's an age thing. I just think it's a developmental and a mechanical thing. When you're ready, you repeat your delivery well, you're protecting your arm well, you should be in the major leagues pitching.
I just noticed something Will Nieves did that usually only leadoff guys do, batting after a pitcher. He's batting before the pitcher, but his guy J.D. Martin hasn't been in the dugout very long because of 2 quick outs. Will took about an extra 15 or 20 seconds in the on-deck circle before they finally waved him onto the field. He was trying to give his guy a little bit of a blow as Martin now has to get set up on deck. And Braden Looper right now has a pretty good hard sinker going down and into right-handers. He struck out Josh Willingham with it, and he gets strike 2 to Will Nieves. Looper's 34 years of age, big guy, 6'4", 230. Only major leaguer I know of that ever came out of Mangum, Oklahoma. He lives in the Chicago area now. And a 1-2 pitch. Nieves reaching, not even coming close. So Looper gave up the double to Morgan, the home run to Dunn, but he's righted his night. And as we go to the third, each pitcher with a scoreless second. Southwest.com. Now there's a mobile to hang above your crib. Baseball, baseball. That's the top of the third. Looks like the showers have gone away. And we go to the top of the third inning. And there he is, folks, Steven Strasburg. Dun, dun, dun. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. I asked Steven if he had a whirlwind after he got into town. He said, well, haven't done that much yet. They got in pretty late last night.
They got in at 1:30.
Yeah. Here's Lopez, who swung at the first pitch of the game and topped the little bouncing ball to the pitcher. Felipe will do that a lot. He'll swing at the first pitch of a ball game if it's a fastball. He doesn't like breaking balls. That's a good sinker by Martin. He just missed, and it's 2-0. And Felipe Lopez has 141 hits. He's in the 7th spot in the league, tied with Niger Morgan. That's right in there. Lopez, 29 years of age, and he's overachieving this year. His career batting average, 262. How to play left side. The Nationals released him August 3rd of last year. He signed 3 days later with St. Louis, hit .385 there in 43 games, and then started this year at Arizona and hit .301 in 85 games. And he's 0 for 2. Second strikeout for J.D. Martin.
2-2 pitch right here. Martin takes something off of it. Very nicely done. 72 in the dirt. Nice 12-6 rotation on it.
You mean that's not a foul tip?
That was last night.
Oh, okay. Glaz Diaz wasn't fooled. And here's Craig Counsell, called on strikes, his first time up. A bad foul tip call cost the Nats 2 runs last night. Blew it inside to Counsell, who struck out looking, and he's hitting .290. And Robin, I noticed when the Nats were in Milwaukee, he doesn't hold the hands up anywhere near as highly as he used to. He almost looks like a regulation hitter now in his setup. Today is his 39th birthday, by the way. And he's been in the big leagues. This is his 13th year, and that's probably 10 more years than a lot of people gave him a chance for. The kind of guy you'd like to have on your team. That was a good fastball on his hands, and Adam Dunn is under it at the first base coach's box. 2 outs. Now Ryan Braun, who with 2 outs and the bases empty in the first, dribbled a base hit down the left field line, and Prince Fielder followed with a line drive home run to center. Breaking ball, yes. He made the move from third base to left field during his Rookie of the Year season 2 seasons ago. Quite a thing to ask of a young player. And all he did was go out there and play errorless ball for a couple of months. To be honest, he wasn't that great at third, but the outfield move was very, very beneficial to him and his ball club. And he was the second major leaguer last year to hit 30 homers each of his first 2 seasons. Only Albert Pujols had done that before. Off speed, Zimmerman's got it. Nats didn't want to see Prince Fielder batting again with a man on base, and Ryan takes care of that one. 6 in a row for J.D. Martin. It helps to be 6-3 sometimes at the hot corner. 1,000 fans received the free Frank Howard bobblehead, part 2 of the collector's set, presented by PNC Bank. So get here early, get your tickets. Nationals.com, the box office here at the ballpark, or 888-632-NATS. J.D. Martin 3 for 10 is a big league hitter, and it's a strike to lead off the bottom of the third. J.D. getting things settled down on the mound. He's averaging 13 pitches per inning. He'll be followed by Morgan and Guzman here in the third. And it's 1-2. He was swinging from the heels right there. There's that hard sinking fastball again. What you know? It's from Radio Shack, talking about our Nationals leadoff batters. And our friends call us the Shack. 271 low on base average before July 3rd, and Rob Dibble with Niger Morgan being here looking like a true leadoff scenario.
Well, there you go with the on base percentage up almost 100 points. That means there's ducks on the pond. More RBI for Zimmerman, Dunn, Willingham, and those guys have really paid off. That game, those games in Milwaukee, the 2 grand slams in one game for Willingham. Got to have people on base to get those grand salamis. But it's just his speed too. He wreaks havoc on the pitchers. They have to worry about him. They give better pitches to Guzman, who has had some great numbers hitting behind Niger Morgan, and then everybody behind Guzman has benefited from that speed.
Guzman takes a strike and a couple of quick outs here. Niger Morgan in the series at Milwaukee was 10 for 19. So 1 for 2 tonight. He was 11 for 21 against Milwaukee pitching. Right back to the pitcher. And the Nats go very, very quickly in the bottom of the third. J.D. Martin will get right back to the mound. It's 2-2 into the middle innings. The only 2 players to receive first place votes for the Rookie of the Year. Well, we know Ryan Braun's one of them. He won it. 07.
Was Zim a rookie in 07?
No, he was a rookie in 06.
Okay, so 06.
Top of the 4th inning, and Prince Fielder That's interesting. Only 2 players got votes. The year before was all the Marlins and Zimmerman. That vote was really fractured among a lot of different players, and Hanley Ramirez won it. Adam Dunn takes care of that hot shot, and the top of the 4th is underway. Prince Fielder was a rookie in '06 as well. He was 7th that year. You talk about names: Josh Johnson, Scott Olson, Hanley Ramirez, Ryan Zimmerman, Prince Fielder. But then '07, the field really narrowed. We're trying to figure out who the other one was besides Ryan Braun. Here's Casey McGee. He bounced back to the pitcher first time. He gets a lot of that one, and it's not coming back. Milwaukee leads on a home run over the bullpen. McGee's 10th of the year.
Well, you see the location is way down low outside, throws it back inside. McGee just crushes that ball. Perfect pitch for him to just take a hack at, since it was supposed to be down and away and hard. It was down and in and hard. Now you got another home run. The guy capable of hitting home runs coming up here with Mike Cameron.
As we mentioned, Casey McGee only had 24 major league at-bats last year. So he's now hit 10 home runs for Milwaukee in 77 games. And his batting average is flirting with 300. Brewers on top, 3-2. Mike Cameron singled up the middle first time, and JD has him 0-2, and that one's up high.
Now, what did you say? 53 runs were scored in that Milwaukee series?
The Nationals outscored the Brewers 30-23 in those 4 games.
Not a lot of great pitching going on either side.
Well, these are the 2 highest DRA staffs, Rob, in the league. The Nats are at 4.97. The Brewers are next worst at 4.88. And you might remember the Nats got 10 runs off Jeff Suppan in 1 game in that series, leading to his trip to the DL. 1-2 to Cameron. Had him reaching. Shortstop Guzman backhand unloads in a hurry, and a good play.
Well, the good thing going for the Nationals, Bob, is that Looper's going to give up some runs. His last couple of starts in ERA over 7. He's already given up a home run. Has allowed 31 home runs to date. Gets him reaching on a good breaking ball right here. Can't try to pull that ball if you're a right-handed hitter. And he hits it on the ground instead of going to right field with it. Nice play by Christian, though. He had to get rid of it quick because Cameron's got good speed.
Frank Catalanato next with 2 outs and the bases empty. We have a lot of people in suits in our booth. That means either the president is here or it's Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, I think one young man in this room is kind of tired at this point.
You're going to get to chat with Steven coming up after the break.
Really?
He gets to meet Rob Dibble.
Oh, he's getting the thrill of a lifetime.
What else can one guy do in one day?
Exactly.
We'll look forward to that. We love having the pitchers get together and have chats. It's a 1-1 count to Catalanato, and he takes the fastball outside.
Well, he got to play for a man that I used to have to battle in Tony Gwynn, who was one of the toughest outs that I ever had to face. It was no fun for any pitcher.
Catalanato to left field. Willie Harris will drift for it, and he is there. It's a night of home runs. The Brewers have hit a couple. The Nats have hit 1. And after 3.5, it's 3-2 Milwaukee.
Steven, you got in late. It was 1:30. You look kind of tired. How's the day gone for you?
Oh, it's been total whirlwind, and but I'm loving it. This is absolutely amazing to see all these fans here. Just to see the President's Cup going around. It's really cool.
Now, they say in the NFL the game's a lot faster at the highest level. You've been watching baseball after you've been out of college. What do you think of it so far?
Oh, it's pretty much it's the same game. Obviously, you're just playing with some extremely talented athletes, and you're not going to go up there and put up numbers, like what I did in college, and I understand that. And you just got to go out there and do your thing, and take your bumps when they happen, but also be ready for some success.
Ryan Zimmerman just missed getting one. Flying out to the base of the center field wall. Dunn and Willingham to follow.
Got a chance to meet Ryan Zimmerman. He's a great young guy, a lot like yourself, very soft-spoken. A lot of pressure put on him to be the face of the franchise. Now yourself, is it hard to, even Stan Kasten said there's too much hype and you should just be left alone. I've said the same thing. Just let you develop, let you progress, and do what Steven Strasburg can do.
Absolutely. I remember when my head coach at San Diego State, Tony Gwynn, once told me is that, would you rather be a guy hitting 200 where nobody wants to talk to you, or would you rather be hitting 300 and above where everybody wants to talk to you? And, if you want to be successful, these are things that you're going to have to deal with, and, just keep smiling.
And you had to dedicate your work. You went into college. You were about 250 pounds. You had to get your weight down. You look lean and mean. What's your playing weight going to be about?
It's going to be right around 225. I'm starting to put on a little bit more muscle and, fill out my legs and my upper body. So, hopefully someday I can be right around in the 230, 235 range and, still be, very, in shape and ready to pitch some ball games.
What did you learn from Tony Gwynn? I mean, he was one of the first to institute video and watching video on pitchers. Did he help you learning hitters? I mean, myself in the major leagues, I learned from a lot of great guys, Ken Griffey Sr., people like that, asking them a lot of questions. Have you learned about not just pitching, but about hitting too?
A lot of the things that I learned from Coach Gwynn is the game's so mental. And as far as the mental side of pitching, I learned a lot from the pitching coach Rusty Filter there. But as far as what hitters think when they're facing you, that was all Coach Gwynn. And just listening to him talk about hitting it really kind of opened my eyes into what the opponent is really thinking when they're facing me.
Now, for people who didn't see some of the interviews I've seen on you, your grandmother was instrumental in your upbringing as far as baseball is concerned. Now, did you hit your grandmother pretty hard when you were hitting balls off of her?
She would serve it up every now and then, but she had a real good changeup, and that's what kept me off balance.
All right, thanks a lot, Steven. Hey, I know whirlwind for you, but I know you want to get back to baseball. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Steven Strasburg, gentlemen.
Thank you, Rob Dibble, and all the best to Steven. It's been great getting to know him a little bit today. And he's off to Florida, then Arizona, and then hopefully a strong showing in Vieira next spring. Adam Dunn walks for the 91st time, 133 or 36 strikeouts to go with that. So he's aboard with one out here in the fourth. Willingham struck out swinging first time up. So the Nats have the tying run aboard here. An indication of how strong Ryan Zimmerman is the fact that that ball got him near the trademark and he hit it 400 feet to the wall, nearly hitting a home run to tie this game. So right now Braden Looper getting the ball inside on the national right-handers effectively. And then Willingham tried to pull that pitch away, and it's 2-1.
Well, and the thing we talked about before the game that I love about any starting pitcher is the 14 wins in his 24 starts coming in. His record may not look that great. His ERA is high, but when he takes the mound, his team is pretty confident that they have an opportunity to win the ball game. For Braden Looper, stay in the game 6, 7, 8 innings as long as possible, turn it over to the bullpen. Bottom line is that that's a very good percentage of wins in your starts.
Wow, that's a generous strike two call. Willingham couldn't believe it from Laz Diaz. If he gets that call tonight, he's going to be tough.
Well, it's got a lot of movement on it. Late break, breaks out of the zone like Bob said. It doesn't cross the plate as a strike, but Laz Diaz sees it as a strike.
And then Willingham to his knees, striking out for the second time.
Well, I know Looper throws a fork ball. Right there, you see him digging in his glove for it. You see that spin on it like a knuckleball. It comes down, looks like a fastball coming in, but at 82, off of that 92, 93 mile an hour fastball, looks even harder to hit because of that arm speed.
Here's Willie Harris. Tried to bunt his way aboard first time. Casey McGee plays even with the bag at third.
See, a lot of young pitchers, too, will think it's all in the grip. It's in the arm speed. And you sell your changeups with arm speed. You sell all your pitches with arm speed. You grip it like a fork ball. You really don't have a great grip of it. That's what slows it down.
Willie drills one to center, but it's right at Mike Cameron, and then it dies on him, forcing him to make a shoestring catch. The Nats strand their first base runner tonight into the fifth. It's 3-2.
We're happy to have him over here, and if he really wants a number, I'm sure we can negotiate for it.
What would you like in exchange for the uniform number?
I don't know. I'm talking to the whole coaching staff to see what we would all like. It's a staff thing.
I have also been told that Pat will likely switch to the number 4 next homestand. And by the way, he wore number 4 for the Brewers after Paul Molitor left Milwaukee. And by the way, Paul said it was okay, and they have since retired that number 4 in Milwaukee. Guys, back up to you.
I think that's interesting that Pat said, well, it looks like the young man's going to have to do something for the whole coaching staff, not just me.
It's tradition, if someone has the number, to give them some kind of gift.
Such as?
A token of appreciation. Well, most guys, and this is a young kid we're talking about.
And that's an 0-2 pitch, by the way.
But if you're going to go for the entire coaching staff, I don't know. We can call Coors and get a couple of cases of Coors Light for the coaching staff. I do know the coaching staff. I don't know if it's going to take that much. They all have watches. Look at them. Look at all those guys. Pat Corrales, Patty Listash.
I wouldn't want to have to negotiate with Corrales.
I wouldn't want to have to negotiate with McCaddy either.
Well, that was a mistake by J.D. Martin. He had the number 8 hitter 0-2. He gives up a base hit on a ball right down the middle, and now the pitcher has a chance to bunt. And Braden Looper is a good hitter. He has 9 hits this year. He also has 9 sacrifice bunts.
I think he's going to lay down a bunt right here. Sometimes they'll look like they're going to do some trickery and slug bunt or try to shoot through the hole. I think with no outs, you try to get that guy to second base.
Not a very good stab at the ball there. Strike 1.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. You don't stab at the ball. You use your knees to lower your body. You still use your bat as a shock absorber. You don't stab at the ball.
Our robotic camera right up behind the umpire. On the screen, gives you a good look here.
Missed another one. Let's see it on the Exmo right here. You want the bat to be out front, facing into play. See what he does with the bat right here as the ball comes in. Waiting. Got that hand wrapped around it. I'm not digging that either. Get that pitching finger in there, and you see him right there at the end. Stab at the ball. Have to let the ball just tap the bat. And be like a shock absorber. You see Nyjer Morgan do it really well.
Yeah, and he and Guzman and Willie Harris can do it while their legs start moving and they're running out of the batter's box.
If you're rigid and your arms are straight and rigid, the ball's going to come flying off of that bat.
Man, that's a real poor at bat by a usual good hitting pitcher. My.
I only think that they probably said, have this ball go to the right side. He's trying to stab it to the right side. Once again, you want to have the ball hit the bat, be like a shock absorber. And right there, you see at the end, he's stabbing at it. It almost looked like he was trying to push it to the right side. If you're not really a good bunter by trade, meaning Nyjer Morgan or Willie Tavares or Luis Castillo type guy, it's not easy to just hit the ball wherever you want or bunt it, lay it down the line.
First pitch breaking ball to Felipe Lopez, who's bounced back to the pitcher and struck out.
But the one thing in the National League, having played 11 years in the Reds organization, 7 in the big leagues, pitchers can help themselves. And that's one of the ways you can help yourself. Get the sacrifice bunt in play, put pressure on the defense, and get that run into scoring position. There's many times. There's some old Nationals numbers.
Felipe was actually the second baseman at the start of the 07 season. CRISTIAN GUZMAN got hurt on a tag play at second base and broke his thumb, and Lopez had to move over to shortstop the rest of that year.
Many times, Bob, when we were taking batting practice, they just say for 45 minutes, all you're going to do is bunt today, boys. And we would just bunt 50, 75 throws from the pitching coach, whatever, and just try to lay down the spots and basically keep the ball from going too far by the pitcher's mound, get it in front of the third baseman, first baseman, because it can really help you win a lot of ball games.
Great slide to the right by Willie Avis. Jason Kendall is the number 8 hitter, but there have been times in his career when he hit a whole lot higher in the lineup of different ball clubs he's been with, like the Pirates and the A's, and he's always had good speed as a catcher. Doesn't run that much anymore, but he's a very good base runner. And a 2-2 coming. Steady diet of breaking stuff here for Felipe. Craig Counsell. Top 2 hitters 0 for 4. The damage has come from 3, 4, and 5. Cleanup man fielder McGee, number 5, a homer. Braun, the number 3 man, an infield hit before Fielder's first inning blast. And a 2-2 again. And Felipe reaching. They can hurry and get a couple. And they don't. On the relay by Belliard. Close play. Mike Riley called him safe.
You called it, Bob. You knew Felipe Lopez was going to be flying out of the box, not hit that hard. Underhand flip. Belliard, great turn. I think he may have been safe. Great Exmo right there. Get Craig Counsell, or is that Kendall?
That's Jason Kendall.
Jason Kendall, great takeout, clean. Ronnie makes a great turn.
Lopez at first, 2 outs for Counsell, who's 0 for 2 himself.
Well, it was done perfectly all the way around, and then the guy hustled. Boy, Counsell has totally revamped his stance. He used to have one of the worst looking stances at the plate ever. It was effective for him.
You just used to wonder how he had his hands up above his helmet and the bat sticking straight up, and how he ever got himself into a hitting position. But you mentioned this in Milwaukee. Hey, he's 39 years of age now. Nobody's hands or legs are as quick as they were in their 20s, and the adjustment has been made.
Yep. Well, and the adjustment is more like, okay, now I need to make a shortcut. Now I need to cut down on the time between where my hands are on my body and getting them through the hitting zone.
And if he makes another adjustment somewhere along the line, he'll have to get it going earlier.
Oh,
so at least he made it this far without having to start cheating, because that's when guys really get themselves in trouble. Hitters will tell you as they get older, you got to get the bat started quicker, and you fall prey to pitchers then. Nyjer Morgan's going to cruise to that ball, no problem. Halfway through the ball game, sort of a pitcher's duel. 3-2 Milwaukee. Bottom coming up. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Let's see who's coming up on that next homestand. That will be the Marlins and the Phillies.
The Fish and the Phils. The Florida Marlins and the Fighting Phils.
After that, Dodgers, Braves, Mets. Only 2 more homestands after this. That's hard to believe. Ronnie Belliard bounced out to short. Looper had him reaching first time up. Braden Looper career against the Montreal Washington franchise. This is amazing. He's pitched in 58 games now, but only 1 previous start in all those years that he spent with Florida and St. Louis and the Mets.
Ronnie Belliard after some off-speed pitches right here. He's going to get a hard fastball. Well, I'm not going to miss that fastball. And he smokes it in between first and second.
Ronnie Belliard is now 4 for 11 career against Braden Looper. Will Nieves had never seen him till tonight. Struck out swinging first time up.
And the reason I asked Steven Strasburg about his weight, when he left high school, went to college, he weighed 250 pounds.
And he wasn't drafted.
And and they wanted him to get into shape. So his freshman year, with all the conditioning they did, he got his weight down to 225. But moms will love this next one. He was always a great student in the classroom. Carried a 4.6 GPA in high school before he ever picked up a mitt.
Ronnie Belliard is a dead duck.
Yeah, that's not good.
Number 8 hitter next, or they're in there, and then the pitcher next. Not sure where Ronnie Belliard was going, and he was totally picked off. Not even close.
Ronnie in the process of getting off first base. Looper watching him, throws over, gets him caught in between. He's dead. So give Looper a lot of credit watching Ronnie Belliard take his lead off the base.
A well-timed throw, catching a runner right in the middle of one of those steps.
Give San Diego State pitching coach Rusty Filter a lot of credit too, though. When pro scouts told him what Steven lacked, they said he lacked the mental toughness and coachability when he got to college, and he worked on that, and look at him now. First pick overall this year in the draft. You think it's weird that Tony Gwynn coaches in Tony Gwynn Stadium?
Not really.
No.
You know, and
the Hall of Famer, but
I did some games with Tony. He's one of the most delightful guys you'll ever be around. And the other thing is, he still holds some of the point guard basketball records at San Diego State. He was an outstanding point man for the basketball Aztecs. They used to play wide open ball in the WAC back then. Well, Nieves will drill one up the middle. 2 consecutive hits by the Nats, but a runner lost. And J.D. Martin should be bunting here with a runner at first and a 1 out. Martin does not have a successful sacrifice bunt this year.
Well, you see Nieves right there take that ball up the middle. He usually goes to right field or up the middle, so.
All right, Martin, help yourself, baby. There you go.
And his bat was totally pointing the wrong way.
And the one thing I just like about our team is the players know their limitations. The hitters know what they can and can't do. Right there, you see the bat right at the end, gets it off the end of the bat. Cannot control the ball long enough to get it into fair play. Did a nice job of getting the bat out in front of the plate, though. Oh, strange. Looper threw him a changeup instead of just taking the out. Maybe trying to get him to pop up an off-speed pitch. Nigel Morgan waiting on deck.
And a 1-1 to J.D. Pulls the bat back, and that's ball 2. And Mike Riley says no swing.
J.D. Martin looks like he knows what he's doing with the bat in his hand.
You know, a lot of times when I cross from the clubhouse down to the dugout, he's the one guy you see in the cage the most.
Well, right there, if you see that, we could go back and see the plate. The bat is up in front of the plate, and that's what they teach you. If you meet the ball in front of the plate, you have a better chance of keeping it in fair territory. Goes it back, goes out. Not a big fan of that moving up the bat in the middle, though, and just using the end of the bat. Kind of cuts down on how much plate coverage you can get.
That's a perfect bunt. He deadened it beautifully. And that'll be 1-4 on the sacrifice, sending Nieves the tying run to second base.
Well, as we said, look for the bat out in front of the plate. Look at where the plate is. It's way back here. He's way up in front of the plate. Does a great job of deadening this ball. Another angle on it. Moving fastball down and in on him. He deadens it perfectly.
First major league sacrifice.
So you can really help yourself, pitchers, by doing some fundamental things.
Looper wants to visit with Jason Kendall.
I love Willie. Hey, Poppy. What's going on, Poppy? How you doing, Poppy?
Is everybody Poppy now?
I know David Ortiz does that too.
But
I think he is
Poppy.
Yeah, and he knows everybody's name. I mean, if I don't know somebody's name, I'll go, hey, dude, what's going on? Hey, Rob, hey, dude. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Poppy.
Hey, Poppy.
Nyjer Morgan hunting his 45th multi-hit game of the year. If he gets another hit tonight, he'll tie CRISTIAN GUZMAN in that department. That is just outside the bag.
Well, and you talked about Tony Gwynn being an excellent basketball player. I know I played some basketball against Cecil Fielder, Prince's dad, and Cecil, who probably went about 6 foot 280, could dunk a basketball, was a very good athlete. And there you see Prince.
And his dad was a right-handed batter.
Yes.
Who hit many a home run onto the roof at Old Tiger Stadium.
He had 50 in 1 year.
Yeah, he was really something. And the 0-2. Targets in. And Morgan hits one to right center, hanging up in the air for Mike Cameron. Nationals threaten with 2 hits, but a pickoff hurts. It's 3-2 now into the 6th inning. Sausage race taken out by Teddy, who still had the lead, but you just knew the Rough Rider was not going to win, place, or possibly even show here. Abe's a great closer.
Yeah, but why doesn't Abe just grab the back of George's tail there? Got that big the wig party.
Yeah,
got that wig on.
He's probably afraid George would lie about it. Secure your seats for the 2010 season. Place your deposit for season tickets. 202-675-NATS or the website nationals.com/2010. Guaranteed seating, savings over game prices on tickets, discounts on merchandise, exclusive events like tomorrow's picnic at the park, and a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Become a citizen of Natstown and place your deposit.
You got a nice Q&A you got going on there tomorrow, partner.
3 o'clock on the center field plaza. Guzman's going to catch that. That's off the bat of Ryan Braun. I will be out there attempting to get a word in with George Will and Phil Wood.
How did that work out?
Well,
Phil Wood, George Will.
Do you know how that worked out? My partner bagged me. That's how it worked out. You're going to go sign autographs with the players. The only two players to receive first place Rookie of the Year votes 2 years ago, Ryan Braun won it, and Troy Tulowitzki was the other. He was here last night. How did we not get that? So, you know, go sign. Be big man on campus. I'll handle the media.
Ray Knight wasn't available, so I was the last person they asked. So, okay.
Well, we'll be right out there by the Mass and set tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be nice and cool while you're in the shade signing for all your admirers.
All three of them.
Well, they told me they were coming. Prince Fielder 1 for 2 with a 2-run home run, the big blow of this game. But if you are a season ticket holder, tomorrow's a perfect example. You get a picnic at the ballpark. You get to meet players, broadcasters, historians like Phil, writers like George.
Best-selling authors like George Will. He is.
I still enjoy talking with George about his Men at Work book, which I think is over 20 years old now, and it's still a great essay on the playing of the game of baseball.
Oh, I thought it was that band from Australia, Men at Work.
That's a good pitch by J.D. Martin. 72 on the changeup and his 4th strikeout. Let's bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. After a Ryan Braun infield hit a laser over the center field wall, 2-0. After the Nats scored, Adam Dunn would tie it with a moonshot way out there to right field. His 32nd of the year, and then Casey McGee hit his 10th, and the Brewers took the lead. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network, your world delivered. Nothing unusual when the Nats and the Brewers get together and the long balls are flying. As we told you in that 4-game series in Milwaukee 3 weeks ago, 53 runs between these two clubs. Zimmerman to his left on the top of the 6th is over in a hurry, and J.D. Martin again gets it right for a couple of innings. Guzman, Sim, and Dunn coming up.
I said, you just go out and be Steven.
Now, how about this, guys? I asked Pat Corrales about Steven Strasburg, and he called him Nolan Ryan Jr. And remember, Pat faced Nolan Ryan, so he knows.
Yeah, let's not label any labels on Mr. Strasburg. Let him just be, as you heard Steve McCarty say, Steven.
We'll see if they give Guzman a hit on the low throw by Felipe Lopez.
Now, if he does get mechanics like Nolan Ryan or Greg Maddux, good for the Nationals. That means he'll be around for an awful long time. Here you're going to see Cristian Guzman is going to beat this ball into the ground, hustle out. Lopez right there. Looks like he has enough time to get him, but the poor throw into the dirt right there. Tough to pick up for Prince Fielder.
They've given him an error, and that's Felipe Lopez, 14th error of the year. His 5th as a member of the Brewers. Here's Zimmerman tying runs on base. Every night on this homestand, the Nationals have been battling from behind. At some point this weekend, they need to grab the lead in the middle innings and then let their bullpen go to work in a hold-em situation to win a game. Nats in-game box score rolling by. Not a whole lot to report other than the Morgan double, the Zimmerman RBI grounder, and the Adam Dunn solo shot. But the Nats get a break here on Milwaukee's 70th error of the year.
A lot of what the minor leagues is too, Bob, is not just so much repeating the delivery and getting good mechanics and good habits. It's being able to overcome adversity, and through failing an awful lot, which is what baseball players do. Hitters fail 7 out of 10 times if they're a very good hitter at 300, even more so if they're not. And pitchers, you're going to take your lumps in the minor leagues, and you need to be able to come back from bad outings and see what you can do. So it's as much a mental process as a physical process.
And that is what Tony Gwynn explained to Stephen at San Diego State. Because Tony Gwynn was one of the strongest mental players you would ever face. As you say, Rob, he revolutionized videotape for hitters. He would sit hours on end at old Jack Murphy Stadium. He'd be there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon looking at tape of his at-bats the night before and maybe from a month before.
And pitchers. I asked him about myself, and he knew me better than I knew me. He knew what pitches I got him out and what he hit off of me.
Ryan got that one down around the end of the bat. Didn't have a whole lot of carry on it. And the other Ryan, Mr. Braun, takes care of it. 1 out. Well, the Nats are right there when you talk about Morgan, Guzman, and Zimmerman coming into the ball game tonight. Then you have Adam Dunn, who came into the game hitting .287. All of those ball clubs, except the Nats and the Orioles, are in pennant chases. Here's Dunn. Adams been on base in 4 of his last 5 plate appearances. And the only time in that when he got retired was his fly ball to the left field wall at the bullpen last night.
Well, the Angels, besides having that batting average, have the most runs scored in the major leagues. And they only have about 135 combined home runs as a team.
Can you believe they're batting .290 as a team? The Yankees are second at .278. And then over here in the National League, most of the year the Dodgers have been leading. They're at .276. Everybody else in the National League is .267 or under as a team. You think the DH doesn't make a difference?
Yeah, but the Angels are so fundamentally sound. They've had a lot of injuries this year. Lost their star closer.
Had a death in the family in spring training.
Nick Aidenhart was tragically killed in a car accident, 21-year-old kid. So they've gone through an awful lot. But fundamentally speaking, they don't make a lot of errors. They don't strike out too much. They're very patient. They run the bases well. It's a team effort with the Angels.
We saw that last year when they came in here and took 2 out of 3 from the Nats in interleague play. And the count's 2-2.
And their pitching is actually down this year. It's down in the bottom 5. You see the home run leaders.
Last 3 years, Adams right there with Prince and Ryan Howard, all the big boys. Even more than those American leaguers. How about that? And Ryan Braun makes the list.
And you see the big boy at the top, Ryan Howard.
Inside to Dunn. All right, here's one of those 3-2 situations. If the ball is near the strike zone, we like to see Adam Dunn hacking rather than taking. He can win a ball game for you right here in the 6th inning. He's going to take it, though, because it was pretty high. So in that situation, take the walk, 2 on, 1 out. And a great opportunity for Josh Willingham, who did big things the last time these two ball clubs got together.
Well, and Jeff Suppan, by the way, went on the disabled list right after this. And the second one came in, I think it was Stetter, if I'm not mistaken, and he crushes that ball. People are starting to recognize that anything from the middle of the plate in to Willingham is quite dangerous.
Josh Willingham's we'll find it here. On that Monday night, the 27th, Josh Willingham's second home run was against Mark DeFelice.
Mark DeFelice.
Josh is hungry for a hit. He has struck out swinging twice tonight. And Looper has overmatched him a bit, and he keeps throwing him that hard sinker. On this homestand between Ubaldo Jimenez, Jason Marquis, and Braden Looper, Josh Willingham has seen a month's worth of nasty sinking fastballs. That's 1-1. Todd Coffey. Does he run hard to the mound on the road like he does at home? I think he does. He's the guy who comes charging out of the bullpen. Can't wait.
In my day, it was a man named a left-handed reliever named Craig Lefferts.
And that's around the horn. 5-4-3 double play. The Nats get a runner with an error and a walk. They leave one. They've stranded 3. Now the game into the late innings, and Milwaukee still leads 3-2.
Here you see J.D. Martin throwing to Braden Looper. He gets the bat out, but he lunges for it, keeps the arm straight, misses the pitch. It's called a strikeout after you foul it off. And then you see the counterpart, J.D. Martin, bat out in front of the plate right there, perfectly bunted. Nice. Gets his first Major League sacrifice bunt, Bob. There's your Coors Light freeze cam doing it right.
Kind of amusing that we talk about squaring the ball when 2 round objects are involved, the bat and the ball. Top of the 7th, Cameron, Catalinato, and Kendall against J.D. Martin. And a first pitch pop-up right side in front of the dugout. Adam Dunn, plenty of room. His teammates were helping him out. And Martin has now embarked on the longest outing by a Nats starter on this homestand.
I knew you'd come out with it.
Well, it's already done.
I know. It's beyond a good start. But I wanted him to go about 8 before I said, hey, by the way, this is a great start for J.D. Martin. But he is. He's manhandling a very good offensive team. Just what the doctor ordered. Talked to Jim Riggleman after the game, and just ball said the second. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, he just said that the short outings by the starting rotation it wears down your bullpen. And then when your bullpen's getting beat up, it looks like, well, the bullpen's not doing their job, and really it's the rotation.
And a base hit off the glove of Adam Dunn. Kendall will be next.
All right, now you need to roll 2 right here. Catalanato, good contact man. Gets a off-speed pitch inside, waits on it with his hands back, and shoots the hole between first and second. Well, we thought we'd see a lot of offense. Then you get a nice, well-pitched game, and here comes Jim Riggleman. That could be it for J.D. Martin.
Ron Vallone is just now up and playing catch. So this would be a Sparky Anderson type hook if it's coming this quickly in a 1-run game.
No, I think that this is going to be not a pep talk, but listen, you've come this far. Don't give up right here. Don't give in to the hitters. Try to get a double play. Got the number 8 hitter up there. This is trying to stop something bad from happening before it starts, and I think you have to challenge these guys. They're young and they need to be challenged. I like it. Well, out there you say, listen, JD, this is your game. You could either keep it right here 3-2 or let it slip away. We've seen quite often lately. You got to want to stay out there. You want to not give up the ball to the manager. You don't want to look down in the bullpen and see some guy warming up to come in your game.
Jason Kendall 1 for 2. He raced on a fielder's choice last time. Brewers acting like they're going to hit for their pitcher, Braden Looper, who hasn't even thrown 80 pitches. Left-handed batter Jody Garrett.
See him working the.
Oh, wait a minute! They switched off. That's Hernan Iribarren, who's one of the young players they've called upon lately to fill some of those roster spots. Jason Bourgeois, Alcides Escobar, and Hernan Iribarren are now Milwaukee Brewers. They were at AAA Nashville when these two organizations got together 3 weeks ago. So they had Garrett in the circle, then they made a switch. And it's 1-1 to Jason Kendall. Kind of interesting. Ken Maka, who's been suffering and waiting for good pitching lately. He's got a pretty good start from his guy tonight, but it looks like he's going to get him out of there.
See him going over a different set of signs. See his bench coach, very good coach and former manager Willie Randolph next to him.
Coffee has been ready. Kendall, 35 years of age now. His dad, Fred, was a very good catcher with the Padres, Indians, and the Red Sox. A 12-year major league career. And a 2-2.
Jason Kendall, another one of those very talented Pirate players that was let go. He started making good money.
Yeah. Pittsburgh from 96 to 04. He was there for 9 years. That's a fair ball. Zimmerman. And he can't get a handle on the ball. But as Rob and I have often mentioned, the Nationals guard the third base line less than any other team in baseball from the 7th inning on.
Yeah, I mean, it's questionable sometimes that we don't play a no doubles defense a lot. Right there, Zimmerman makes a tremendous play. In the latter innings, doubles will score a run from first base. You don't want that to happen. And the stop there keeps the runners from going first to second, second to third.
Hernan Iribarren is a 25-year-old infielder from Venezuela who's been in the Milwaukee organization for 7 years. 14 major league at-bats last year when he was called up after hitting .277 in Nashville, and this year in 94 games there he hit .313. They called him up at the trading deadline on July 31st. And that ball lashed out to center, but right to Niger Morgan for the second out.
Well, a little contact hitter, hit it a little bit too hard. We like to see that. Now this is the biggest out of the game coming up.
Felipe Lopez. Braden Looper goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs on only 4 hits. Couple of walks, 4 strikeouts. A homer, a double play, 78 pitches, 50 strikes. Now that's a quality start.
Yeah,
2 runs in 6 innings.
Start. He has given the Nationals an opportunity to win this ball game, and if he can keep it right here through 7 innings, basically it's a 1-0 ball game. You should be able to win this with 9 outs.
And the reason, Rob, and I like that a whole lot more than the other, this is a 3 ERA, which by today's standards is considered very good. Top of the order, Lopez 0 for 3. A perfect fastball right on the outside corner. Turned over the breaking ball on him.
Will Nieves right here, knowing breaking ball's coming. I got to get down. Look at the angle of his chest moving forward. Keeps the ball in front. Nice stop. Keeps the runners where they are.
Lopez pulls it. Base hit. And Willingham's throw home is late. The Brewers lead 4-2. Adam Dunn didn't make a move for the ball. He thought it was through. There was no chance for Belliard, and 3 singles in the 7th get the Brewers a 2-run lead. And this is eerily starting to look like the Colorado series all over.
Well, and you see Will Nieves wants the location, down and away, pounding the ground. Ball's right over the heart of the plate. Felipe Lopez wins the battle in between first and second, and that'll do it. J.D. Martin.
He would go 6 2/3 innings, 8 hits, including 3 in this inning. Struck out 3 and did not walk a batter. It's up to the bullpen now to keep it close. Tomorrow, we're right back with you, 7 p.m. Masson 2. That's Mike Burns, 8th Major League start. He's had a decision every time out. And for John Lannon, time to get his record back to 500. He's 8-9. The Nats have won 4 of his last 6 starts, but Jim Riggleman said today John's not happy with himself and the way things have been going lately, and the manager likes the fact that he's a little chapped off the way things have been going. 6:30, Nats Extra, Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight. First and third, 2 outs, Craig Counsell. And Ron Vallone's first pitch grounded foul. '45th appearance for Vallone, 3.75 ERA. 36 innings, 23 strikeouts, but 24 walks. Well, J.D. Martin got deeper into the ball game than any Nats starter has this week. 6 2/3. And a ball that appeared to slap right off the roof of the dugout and went straight down. Him up and struck him out on an 0-2 pitch. Vallone gets Counsell. 7th inning stretch time at Nationals Park. Brewers pick up a big run and lead 4-2. Todd Coffey, all 6'4", 241 of him.
Hot coffee, here it comes. I love how Todd Coffey comes in the game.
They love it in Milwaukee as they did in Cincinnati. Those guys pretty amused by it as well. Let's do a run dance here. Bottom of the 7th, Harris, Belliard, and Nieves against Todd Coffey, who was with Cincinnati for parts of 4 years and then 9 games after the Brewers got him on waivers September 10th last year, and he's turned into a solid setup guy. And when you look back in the last 12 months, that's one of the best waiver wire pickups in baseball.
Absolutely. He had closed for the Reds for a few years. Great setup guy for a few years. Probably ran into a few arm injuries or physical ailments that slowed him. He got right again in Milwaukee, probably under Mike Maddox.
Yep.
And then Mike Maddox goes down with the Rangers and now has the Rangers poised to maybe make the playoffs this year.
Brewers added a new reliever today, right-hander Chris Narveson, because Jesus Colome went on the DL. I saw Jesus this afternoon, and he's having trouble with his right forearm and is not sure when he will be pitching again.
And since we last saw the Brewers, they fired longtime Brewer coach and pitching coach Bill Castro. Billy Castro let go, and Chris Bosio, the AAA pitching coach, brought up.
And a former Milwaukee right-hander himself.
There's Chris. One of the best curveballs I've ever seen.
Yeah. Willie Harris 0 for 2. Lined out hard to center last time.
Time to get one back, at least. Start chipping away.
The Nats pitcher due to bat fourth here in the 7th. So they want this inning to get down that far. They can pitch it and bring in Jorge Sosa. Wow. 94.
Last night we saw Betancourt with the hard heat. Here's the 0-2 pitch. This is going to be 94 up in the zone and moving. Looks hittable from a hitter standpoint. From a pitcher, not much you think the hitters can do with that pitch except miss it or pop it up.
Here's Belliard with Nieves next. Ronnie 1 for 2, picked off after singling to lead off the 5th. Prince Fielder is about 30 feet off the line at first base. And Belliard jerking one down the left field line, hanging in the air. It's playable. Craig Counsell, 2 outs. Tyler Clippard joining Jorge Sosa. Willie Davis. And then to the on-deck circle goes Mike Morris, who was in the on-deck circle last night and has yet to get into a game here. And we're looking forward to seeing this guy hack. By the way, he told me that your buddy taught him a thing or two in Seattle. He said, I'm not a pitcher, but I learned a lot of baseball from our ex-bullpen coach out there, Norm Charlton. He said, tell Rob that his guy taught me a lot about this game.
You know I don't talk to players till they're playing the game. I'm kidding.
I didn't know that. So you're like a front runner or what?
Yeah. You got to get in the game, get a hit, get a home run. I'm not talking now.
Wow.
I'll go see him tomorrow.
Imagine their delight at finally seeing you.
Busy.
Yeah. He has hit everywhere he has been, every level. 0-2 to Nieves, and Will overmatched for the second time tonight. The Nats go quietly. They've had only 2 hits since the first inning, 4 on the night. It's now into the 8th. Manny Ramirez got hit, and then in apparent retaliation, Mota hitting Fielder, and Rob, it got ugly then in the tunnel down between the two clubhouses.
Well, yeah, Guillermo Mota, he just wanted to ask him why in a 17-6 or 17-4 blowout, why are you hitting me? And it took 4 of his teammates to stop him from going into the Dodgers locker room.
And of course, we've made many visits to LA. The distance between the two locker room doors is maybe 100 feet or 150 feet. It's actually further than it used to be.
And Prince is a good kid, and he apologized after that. He said he lost his head a little bit. He really wanted to just his comeback line was hilarious. He goes, I just wanted to see what they were having for their after the game meal.
Yeah, sure. That's a great line.
It was.
But going into another team's clubhouse, seeking out a player after a game, there's no telling what might have happened had he gotten in there. That's what's scary about it.
And you remember, you know, when Guillermo Mota hit Mike Piazza, the next day, Mike Piazza went and confronted Mota, but had him in a hold. Didn't hit him or anything, but I think that he scared the wits, so to speak, out of Mota.
Ryan Braun leads off in the 8th. Tyler Clippard has to keep this game where it is. The Nationals have been stopped by good Colorado and now Milwaukee pitching this week. And that was unexpected by the Brewers, who have the second worst ERA in the National League at 4.88. Rain falling for the second time tonight. And here's Prince, 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer.
'98 T-shirt coming out to Nationals Park on September 8th for T-shirt Tuesday. The first 10,000 fans will receive a free Natstown T-shirt. Then watch the Nats take on the Phillies at 7:05. Call 202-675-NATS. Visit nationals.com or stop by Nationals Park box office for tickets, Bob.
That'll be another T-shirt Tuesday. Only a couple of them left.
You know, you and I need to get down there and give out some T-shirts.
You mean like when the folks come in?
Yeah. You need to meet the peeps.
I like it. I'm going to meet a bunch of our season ticket holders tomorrow. Rain changing directions from earlier in the evening with the breeze coming this way. And Fielder, with a 2-1 count, takes a fastball upstairs. Lightning to the northeast of us. And a 3-1 to Fielder, who takes that hard swing, and the count goes full.
Well, and the thing with Prince, he's got an over 400 on base percentage. Doesn't strike out nearly as much as you might think. He's got some great numbers towards the MVP this year. Except that there's some fellow in St. Louis named Albert Pujols who's blown everybody away.
That's a strike, and that's an out at second base. The throw got in behind Ryan Braun, and Chuck Merriweather punched him out on a strike him out, throw him out double play.
Prince Fielder right here takes a third strike. Will Nieves fires out Braun. Braun looked in. That was his mistake. Anytime you look in while you're stealing second base, you're going to stop yourself by maybe a step. That's all Will needed.
Boy, that ball was right on his hip, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So Prince so far on the year, about 33 homers, 110 RBI, 308 average, 415 on base percentage, 604 slugging.
He looked like he was easily going to be safe, and the throw got him right on the hip. Bases empty, 2 outs now. Casey McGehee.
I think that it's a stone cold lock for Albert Pujols.
And the rain is really coming down. This is a lot harder than it rained earlier. And a breaking ball outside. Mike Riley, crew chief over at first base. Normally an umpire will want to see the half inning come to a close, and then he'll make his decision. 2 outs here, and it is really coming.
Fat Albert's numbers in second.
And by the way, Prince Fielder has passed him in RBIs.
Yeah, but 39 homers, 105 RBI, 95 runs scored, a 318 batting average, 441 on base percentage, 668 slugging, 50 strikeouts against 91 walks.
And his team has a 7-game lead.
Yes, that's the difference.
That's pretty valuable. Adam Dunn never saw the ball. That ball was fouled. It hit about halfway onto the warning track. And I guess when Adam looked up, he got a face full of rain and never made a move toward the baseball. Tough pitching conditions, not to mention holding that bat.
Wow.
That's a fine time to squeeze a guy.
Laz Diaz, who's had, I don't want to call it a loose strike zone, but a liberal strike zone. Is this Hurricane Bill, or is this just another Friday night in Washington?
Swing and a miss. We'll find out. Only 3 batters for Milwaukee in the 8th. Rain pelting down, and Mike Riley is going to be talking to the ground crew here. The Nats do have the pitcher spot, then the top of the order, down by 2, and it's raining hard. So they're going to get home plate covered and the entire infield covered in just over a minute. Good work by the boys. So we're going to the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll send you to ESPN News. Keep you posted on the status of the ball game here. Going into the bottom of the 8th, 4-2 Brewers. It's coming down heavy. We'll keep you posted and bring you back for baseball to Nationals Park. Fielder Mike Morse, who the Nats got on June 28th from Seattle for Ryan Langerhans. He hit .339 at Syracuse in 44 games, and Prince Fielder takes a base hit away from it. We resume at 9:26 after a rain delay of exactly 20 minutes.
Well, Mike wasted no time in greeting Todd Coffey's fastball right here. He tries to get ahead, see what the kid can do. He takes a fastball the other way, and he's robbed
by Prince Fielder, who is playing way off the line.
By the Prince of Fielding.
And Nyjer Morgan at the top of the order with Guzman to follow. And the Nationals suddenly are down to their final 5 outs.
Well, now for Nyjer Morgan, it's any way you can.
On a 1-0 pitch, he slaps it on a play.
And 3 times tonight we've gone down 1-2-3. Todd Coffey comes in throwing nothing but 94, 95 and great sliders.
Nats have only had hits in 2 innings tonight. Morgan right to Casey McGee. The Nats are having one of those weeks when almost every ball they hit hard is either right at somebody or results in a good play and a hit taken away. 2 outs, bases empty, and the hitter is now CRISTIAN Guzman.
The thing about McGee too on Nyjer Morgan, trying to make sure he doesn't lay down some kind of bunt to get on base. Maybe about 60-70 feet from home plate when he caught that ball.
Yeah. Guzman is 0 for 3 tonight and 3 for his last 29. The Nats need Ryan Zimmerman to bat in this inning. They have a left-hander warming up. If it goes beyond Zimmerman, the only left-hander they have, Mitch Stetter. You can tell by that delivery, he wouldn't have Adam Dunn feeling too comfortable.
Or any other lefty.
Exactly. 1-1 to Guzman. Adds back to the barrier. Ball 2.
Looks like he overthrows a breaking ball a little bit there. 20-minute layoff. One of the air-conditioned conditions of those locker rooms. By the way, their visiting locker room here at Nationals Park. Better than the home locker room at Riverfront Stadium.
That's not
jealous. Oh, it's gorgeous. Nice locker room.
And a fly ball out to left center. It'll be caught by Ryan Braun. The Nats go in order, and again, base hits in only 2 innings through 8. 4-2 Milwaukee. in the first after a Zimmerman RBI ground ball following a Morgan double. That's it for the Nats offense. Prince Fielder went deep in the first. They got a later homer from Casey McGee. Good pitching from Braden Looper and Todd Coffey. J.D. Martin, not bad. He got one out away from going through 7, but victimized for that big 4th run the Brewers scored on the Felipe Lopez base hit. So here's Jorge Sosa in the 9th against Cameron, Catalinato, and Kendall, trying to keep this a 2-run game. And I guess everybody knows who you're looking at now in the bottom of the 9th. He's already playing catch. Unless the Brewers would score more than 1 run here and make it a non-save situation for Trevor Hoffman, who's 20 saves now away from 600. Again for the Brewers, Mike Cameron leads off. He's 1 for 3 with a single back in the 2nd.
Who were we talking about last night? Betancourt was a middle infielder. Trevor Hoffman, middle infielder.
That's right. That's right.
Couldn't hit the breaking ball.
And a ball hooked into left for a base hit.
And there's a breaking ball, and that guy hit it. Mike Cameron.
Mike Cameron came in hitting .253, 2 for 4 tonight. Nats Extra post game ahead shortly with Johnny and Ray breaking down J.D. Martin's 2nd career start as he's starting to see some ball clubs for the 2nd time around. Adam Dunn continues his hot swinging. He's been on base 3 more times tonight. And then tomorrow, Mike Burns for the Brewers and John Lannon for the Nats. Catalinato with 1 out in the 7th singled hard off the glove of Adam Dunn. That got them on their way to that big extra run. Looks like most of the crowd of 26,307 still hanging with us after a very brief 20-minute rain delay. A lot of folks bought $1 tickets for the game tonight. Several hundred of them joined us this afternoon to greet Steven Strasburg. There's another ball pulled through the right side. Scampering to 3rd is Mike Cameron with nobody out.
Well, that's back-to-back hits off of 84-mile-an-hour breaking balls when Sosa throws 95.
Boy, you harped on this last night, Rob, and I'm right there with you. It's just really getting old, wondering where have the fastballs gone.
But the level of the breaking ball hanging in the zone long enough for these guys to hit it. If you're going to throw an out pitch with the breaking ball, no problem. Throw it in the dirt, throw a good one, but don't throw a strike with it.
And now you have
a really good contact hitter.
Exactly. Jason Kendall. He's going to put the ball in play somewhere. Infield in. He'll take a strike. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Had the infield hit into the glove of Zimmerman. And that really set up the hit by Lopez with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Brewers have now out hit the Nationals 10-4.
You can see Will Nieves trying to set the target low. And the simplest things, cliches they tell you about pitchers: high and tight, low and away. Not high and tight, throw a strike with your breaking ball right in the zone. He wants the breaking ball.
Kendall, one of the few hitters anymore who does not wear batting gloves. He lines it. Guzman can't reach it, and now it's 5-2.
Well, 86-mile-an-hour breaking ball. heart of the plate. Great contact hitter. Devastating results.
Now here's Jody Garrett, who was on deck 2 innings ago before being replaced. Garrett as a pinch hitter, 6 for 38 this year and 3 for 27 as a Brewer.
Still nobody out now.
Yeah.
And going to be getting around to the top of the order.
Garrett was traded from San Diego to Milwaukee for Tony Gwynn Jr. on May 21st. Felipe Lopez has a go-ahead RBI tonight. Actually, an insurance RBI in the 7th. The way things have gone this week, the last thing we expected after the Nats took 3 out of 4 at Cincinnati last weekend to earn another 500 road trip. Feeling pretty good about coming home. At that point, they were 17-14 under Jim Riggleman. His record is 500 right now. And that's a 4-pitch walk to load the bases. 3 hits and a walk. And the top of the order coming up now with Felipe Lopez. And it's Steve McCaddy coming out. And it's possible we will not see Trevor Hoffman now if the Brewers score again. Tonight's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Catalinato at third, Kendall second. They both singled. Kendall an RBI, and then a walk to Jody Garrett, the pinch hitter. Cameron has already scored, making it a 5-2 game. And the Nats infield in a desperate defensive posture here. Lopez 1 for 4 with his 38th RBI. Slapped up the middle. And now it's 6-2.
I'm going to let you guess what that last pitch was.
I'll say it was a slider, center cut.
Yes, it was. Well, he got ahead with a breaking ball. He comes right back with a breaking ball.
Wow.
Actually broke to the outside half so he could get full extension.
Well, obviously Will Nieves is calling a lot of breaking balls. Why aren't these guys shaking him off?
I don't understand it. You know, now you're getting the Counsell, Braun,
well,
Wheeler, McGee.
This is about to become a blowout. That ball short hops the catcher. Counsell 0 for 4.
put him. No outs. 2-0.
And this one will be right to Niger Morgan. Tagging at third is Kendall. He throws to third as he should, and now it's 7-2. And here comes Ryan Braun, followed by Prince Fielder, barring a double play. First and second, one out. It's a 3-run ninth for the Brewers, who are now in line for their 59th win of the year. They're trying to get back to 3 under 500 with a win here tonight. Everybody chasing that St. Louis ball club that's going so well. They started about 25 minutes at San Diego. And they are now 17 over 500, lead the Cubs by 7, Houston by 10 in the Central. They're making a shambles of that race. And now some ball clubs are getting themselves in line for wild card competition. And the Brewers have to pretty much play about 600 ball or better the rest of the way, because they're 9.5 out behind Colorado, and there are 6 teams in front of them.
There's a lot of competition, not only for the wild card within that division in the Central. Cubs are still over 500.
Yeah, and the problem the Brewers have, Houston's in there, Cubs are in there, so you're playing your divisional teams in September, and you're beating each other, so somebody gets hurt every night.
The Brewers right now in their own division, 10.5 back of the Cardinals. They're still going to probably play at least 6 more with the Cardinals, maybe more. And as you said, 9.5 out of the wild card with 6 teams in front of them.
And they'll have 41 games left to play after tonight. Ryan Braun goes deep to center. Morgan will get there, and he'll get it back in. 1 runner tags at second base. Garrett gets himself to third. That's a second out here in the 9th. Follow the Nationals on your iPhone and your iPod Touch. You can use those pieces of equipment to purchase by going to nationals.com. It's called MLB.com at Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts.
My iPod Touch just told me Pedro Martinez earned his first win at Wrigley Field since 1994.
Wow.
I don't know what you might learn on this iPod Touch.
How does it let you know something happened?
Just you touch it, turn it on, go to the proper app.
Pedro's team not doing very well tonight. The Phillies are trailing at New York 4-1. Jeff Francoeur hit a homer for the Mets, his 11th. But the Marlins are feeling fine, although they just gave up 3 to the Braves in the bottom of the 7th. Adam LaRoche's 19th. Florida had led 5-0. It's now 5-3. So that's how the rest of the division is doing tonight. 1-1 to Prince Fielder, 1 for 4 with a home run. Hacks one out to center again. Lines it right to Niger Morgan. And that's it for the Brewers. But they scored 3 devastating runs on the Nats. And a 5-run Milwaukee lead into the bottom of the 9th. Alcides Escobar takes over at shortstop here. And most probably a double switch, which would have him batting ninth. And for the Nationals in the bottom of the ninth, and they haven't had a hit since the fifth, it'll be Zimmerman, Dunn, and Willingham. Jody Garrett stays into play right field. So Escobar can't be batting ninth because Garrett will put him in the 7th spot, replacing Frank Catalanotto.
Pretty smart kid there. He went to Stanford. Jody Garrett.
He's always been a good ball player.
Good kid. I've enjoyed talking to him over the years. Back when he was with Cleveland. Never too late, boys. You've been down by 5 before. Starts him off with a changeup and up. Nervous about that 81-mile-an-hour pitch, huh?
And Zimmerman will hit one a mile way over the bullpen. That'll be his career high, a new one, number 25 for Ryan. '82 RBIs for Zimmerman now.
And here comes the Virginian. Well, first pitch was a changeup inside. It looked like another changeup, and this ball is crushed. Look at the side angle, head down, bam, right on the sweet spot of the bat. Watch it go.
That was a monster shot. And for the Nationals, their 115th homer of the year, their first one. Well, they've got their first two tonight, Dunn and Zimmerman, in a while.
Well, those 4 runs given up by the bullpen are just painful at this point.
Yep. And Dunn on a changeup and a half swing right to Trevor Hoffman. Remember how complimentary Adam Dunn was of Trevor Hoffman's changeup when the Nats are in Milwaukee.
Wow, he sells it so well. Circle change. Looks like a fastball all the way. He said the best changeup is the one he struck him out on in Milwaukee that he'd ever seen from Trevor Hoffman. Once right there, he sees the changeup. He's indecisive, and he does a little excuse me swing to hit the ball back to Trevor.
Willingham 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, a double play. Josh in a bit of a funk. He was only 2 for 12 in the Colorado series, so now 2 for his last 15. And they have been pounding him inside off the plate.
Well, all these teams heavily scout our team before we see them. They get the book when you're swinging the bat really well. They get the book on you and say this is what he has a little trouble with, so let's stick to that game plan. Then you have to adjust to their pitching plan against you, so you're always adjusting to adjustments. 580 saves, unbelievable.
That is an amazing number. And a 3-0 pitch. Nationals need runners. Josh taking all the way. Willie Harris is 0 for 3. Ronnie BELLIARD after that, if it goes that far. Willingham will hook one well foul, and the count's full.
And number 37 for now, Pat Mustache. Just a little nervous as he stands almost even with McGee down at third base.
So Pat's going to go single digits, Debbie Taylor reports, and put on number 4.
Number 4, Paul Molitor, Bobby Orr.
3-2, and there's another check swing.
You know, Pat had to make a decision on what number to pick.
Numbers to choose from. What do you think the first number will be retired by this ball club someday?
Probably number 11.
It's got a chance. And on an off-speed pitch, Willingham gone. 2 outs.
Well, obviously over the years he's been able to master changing speeds on a changeup. So instead of an 81-mile-an-hour changeup, he breaks off a little something something on 73 right there, righty on righty. But there was a time Trevor Hoffman threw in the 90s, hurt his arm, developed the changeup. Always had the great mechanics, lower half.
Willie Harris pops up to left. On the run and grabbing it is
Ryan Braun.
the left fielder, Ryan Braun, and the ball game is over. The Nats get a home run in the bottom of the 9th by Ryan Zimmerman, but down by 5. Way too little, way too late, and it's now an 0-4 home stand with the Nats dropping it